Commander Elena Reyes stared at the monitor in disbelief. The emergency alert blared through the cramped research station on Europa as data streamed in from Earth. It wasn't possible. It couldn't be happening. Status report, she demanded, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around her. Lieutenant Patel's fingers flew across the console. Multiple orbital strikes detected on all major cities. Beijing, New York, Lagos, Sydney. They're all gone, Commander. The room fell silent. 20 scientists and military personnel watched as live feeds from Earth showed massive ships entering the atmosphere. No one had seen vessels like these before, sleek, impossibly large, with a strange purple glow emanating from their hulls. 3 days ago, humanity had celebrated first contact. The galactic hegemony had arrived with promises of peaceful exchange and technological marvels. Earth's governments had welcomed them with open arms. It was a setup, whispered Dr. Chen, tears streaming down his face. They were studying our defenses. Elena had suspected something wasn't right about the aliens' sudden appearance. The hegemony representatives had asked too many questions about human military capabilities and colony locations, but no one had imagined extinction was their goal. Mars colony is under attack, reported Communications Officer Rivera. They're requesting immediate assistance. Elena knew there was no assistance to give. Humanity's space fleet consisted of a few dozen military vessels scattered across the solar system. Nothing that could challenge the hundreds of hegemony warships now surrounding Earth. Open a channel to all human vessels, Elena ordered. Authentication code Reyes 7 Delta 9. The station's AI confirmed her command. Channel open, Commander. Elena took a deep breath. This is Commander Elena Reyes of Europa Research Station. Earth is under attack. I am ordering protocol exodus effective immediately. All vessels capable of interstellar travel are to gather survivors and proceed to emergency coordinates. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Outside the viewport, Jupiter loomed large against the backdrop of stars. Elena thought of her family in Buenos Aires, her parents, her brother and his children. All gone now, or soon to be. Alarms blared as the station's sensors detected 3 hegemony vessels approaching Europa. They found us, Lieutenant Patel said. ETA 12 minutes. Elena's mind raced. The station had no weapons, but they did have something possibly more valuable: data. Years of research on experimental propulsion systems that might give the surviving humans a fighting chance. Begin emergency evacuation. Everyone to the transport ship. Lieutenant, initiate data purge on all systems except core research files. Download those to my personal drive. The station erupted into controlled chaos as the team executed their emergency protocols. Dr. Chen approached Elena, his face ashen. Why are they doing this? What did we do to them? Nothing, Elena replied, checking her tactical display. That's the point. We're new. We're expanding quickly. And to empires like the hegemony, potential rivals are eliminated before they become threats. The transport ship was small, designed for station maintenance and supply runs, but it had an experimental drive that might outrun their pursuers. As the last of her team boarded, Elena received a transmission from Captain Takashi of the UES Pathfinder. Commander Reyes, we've collected approximately 2,000 survivors from the lunar colonies. Reports indicate similar evacuations from Mars and Ganymede. Where do we regroup? Beyond the Kuiper Belt, Elena answered. We need to gather whoever's left and disappear. The coordinates are encrypted in the Exodus protocol. The station shuddered as the first hegemony ship came into range and fired a warning shot. Time to go, Elena said, disconnecting the call and racing toward the transport. As their small vessel pulled away from the station, Elena watched the hegemony ships converge on what had been her home for the past 3 years. Purple energy lanced out, and the station erupted in a blinding flash. Engaging stealth systems, announced the pilot as they accelerated away from Jupiter. Through the rear viewport, Elena could see Earth in the distance, a blue marble now marred by orange firestorms visible even from this far away. Humanity's homeworld, burning. How many do you think escaped? Asked Dr. Chen. Not enough, Elena replied, but enough to survive, enough to remember. 2 weeks later, at the edge of the solar system, Elena stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder, now the command vessel for what remained of humanity. Before her were holographic displays showing the assembled fleet, a motley collection of research vessels, colonial transports, and military ships. 53 vessels carrying approximately 50,000 humans. The hegemony is broadcasting across all frequencies, reported the communications officer. They're claiming victory. They're saying humanity has been eliminated as a potential threat to galactic stability. Elena's jaw tightened. They think we're extinct. She looked at the expectant faces around her, the last free humans in the universe. Let them think that, she said. For now, 200 years had passed since Earth fell. Deep beneath the surface of a planet called Haven, Admiral Marcus Chen walked through an underground city that stretched for miles. Massive caverns housed buildings, parks, and lakes lit by artificial suns. Millions of humans lived here now, descendants of the 50,000 survivors who had escaped the hegemony's attack. Marcus stopped at a memorial hall where a piece of twisted metal from the original Pathfinder ship was displayed. Next to it stood a statue of his great-grandmother, Commander Elena Reyes, who had led the survivors to this remote planet beyond the hegemony's borders. Admiral, the council is waiting, said his aide, Lieutenant Quan. Marcus nodded and followed Quan to the central chamber where Haven's ruling council met. The room was circular with 12 seats arranged around a holographic display. As Marcus entered, the counselors rose respectfully. Admiral Chen, thank you for coming, said Counselor Sharma, an elderly woman with silver hair. We've received the reports from our scout ships. Please share what they found. Marcus activated the holographic display, showing a map of nearby star systems. Our scouts have confirmed that the hegemony's border patrols have decreased by 60% in this sector. Their empire is fracturing. Civil wars have broken out in at least 3 major systems. The council members exchanged glances. For generations, humans had hidden on Haven, building their strength while developing technologies that could hide them from the hegemony sensors. After 2 centuries, they've forgotten about us, said Counselor Rodriguez. They believe humans are extinct. This might be our chance to reclaim our place in the galaxy, or our chance for revenge, added Counselor Zhang, his voice hard. Marcus frowned. Revenge won't bring back Earth, but justice might be possible. The council chamber doors opened, and a young woman entered. She wore the dark uniform of Haven's Special Forces, with the Phoenix emblem on her shoulder. Marcus smiled at his daughter, Lieutenant Sasha Reyes Chen, named for both her heroic ancestors. Lieutenant, welcome, said Counselor Sharma. Please share your findings. Sasha stepped forward and took control of the holographic display. The star map zoomed in on a remote system with a strange asteroid field. 3 days ago, my team discovered this, she said, enhancing the image to reveal a massive structure hiding among the asteroids. It's ancient technology, predating even the hegemony. And it's still active. The council leaned forward, intrigued. Sasha continued, we believe it's a quantum signature masker. With this technology, we could move our ships throughout hegemony space completely undetected. You mean we could strike at them without warning? Said Counselor Zhang, his eyes gleaming. Just as they did to Earth. Or we could gather intelligence and find allies, countered Marcus. There must be other species who have suffered under the hegemony's rule. The council debated long into the night. Some wanted immediate action against the hegemony. Others urged caution. Marcus listened to both sides, remembering the stories his grandmother had told him about Earth's final days. After the council session ended, Marcus found Sasha in a training facility, practicing combat simulations against holographic hegemony soldiers. The council has reached a decision, he told her as she disabled the program. We're sending scouts into hegemony space to gather intelligence, and you'll be leading the first team. Sasha wiped sweat from her brow. It's about time. I've been ready my whole life for this. This isn't about revenge, Marcus reminded her. It's about survival, and maybe finding a way for humans to live openly in the galaxy again. Why not both? Asked Sasha. The hegemony tried to exterminate us. They murdered billions. They deserve what's coming. Marcus placed his hands on his daughter's shoulders. Elena didn't save our people so we could become like the hegemony. Remember that. Later that night, Marcus visited the science labs where researchers worked on adapting the ancient alien technology. Dr. Imani Williams, the chief scientist, showed him their progress. We've managed to integrate the quantum masking technology with our ship systems, she explained. With this, we can hide not just from sensors, but from direct observation. We would appear as nothing more than background radiation. Marcus nodded approvingly. And the timeline. The first stealth ship will be ready in 3 days, said Dr. Williams. We're calling it the Phoenix. The next morning, Marcus stood with Sasha at the massive underground hangar where the Phoenix waited. The sleek black ship bore no markings, designed to slip through space unnoticed. Humanity has hidden long enough, said Marcus as technicians prepared the ship for its first mission. It's time to show the galaxy that we're still here. Sasha checked her gear one last time. Don't worry, Father. The hegemony believes humans are extinct. By the time they realize their mistake, it'll be too late. As the Phoenix prepared for launch, Marcus watched with mixed emotions. Pride in what humanity had accomplished, hope for the future, but also fear of what they might become in their quest for justice. Lieutenant Sasha Ray's chin pressed herself against the wall of the hegemony space station, her quantum stealth suit making her invisible to both sensors and eyes. 2 Malkari guards walked past, their scaled skin glistening under the blue lights. They didn't notice her at all. Guards have passed, she whispered into her communicator. Moving to control center. Copy that, came the voice of Captain Jin, waiting in the cloaked Phoenix, ship 5 kilometers away. Remember, intelligence gathering only. No heroics. Sasha smiled to herself. Easy for him to say, safely on the ship. This was her 3rd infiltration mission into hegemony space, and the most dangerous by far. Central Command Station Xerxes 7 was a major hub for hegemony communications. If they could tap into its network, they would gain access to information about fleet movements, political developments, and most importantly, any mention of extinct species. The station corridors were mostly empty at this hour of the night cycle. Sasha moved silently, her training making her footsteps soundless even without the quantum stealth technology. She reached a security door and pulled out a small device that connected to the control panel. The hacking tool, developed by Haven's engineers, quickly bypassed the security and the door slid open. Inside was a vast room filled with holographic displays and information terminals. 3 technicians worked at different stations, all belonging to species Sasha had learned about during her training. A tall, 4-armed Naxian monitored communication channels. A pair of insectoid wrecks processed data. And a single tyranny, a species that looked surprisingly similar to humans, oversaw it all. Sasha froze. The tyranny were known collaborators with the hegemony. In fact, history stated they had helped identify human colonies during the purge. Seeing one up close made her blood boil, but she maintained her focus. The mission came first. She waited until the tyranny supervisor left the room, then moved to an unused terminal in the corner. Connecting her data device, she began downloading information from the hegemony network. As the download progressed, she scanned the holographic displays around her. One caught her attention, a map of the galaxy with several systems marked in red. The label read containment zones. Her heart raced as she realized what she was seeing. These weren't just any systems. They were quarantined areas where the hegemony had supposedly eliminated dangerous species, including Earth. But there were dozens of such zones, Had the hegemony wiped out that many civilizations? The thought made her sick. Her data device beeped quietly, signaling the download was complete. As she prepared to leave, she heard voices approaching, including the Tyranny supervisor returning. Sasha moved quickly to a shadowed corner just as they entered. "The Primarch is concerned about activity in Sector 12, said the Tyranny to the Naxian. "There have been reports of ghost signals matching Drexian patterns." The Naxian's 4 arms worked rapidly over the controls. "Impossible. The Drexians were eliminated 3 centuries ago. Just like the reports of Cantorian ships last month and Silurian energy signatures before that," added the Tyranny. "Something strange is happening." Sasha's pulse quickened. Drexians, Cantorians, Silurians. Were there other species like humans, survivors of hegemony genocide hiding and rebuilding? The Hegemony Council dismisses these as equipment malfunctions or smuggler tricks. The Tyranny continued. But the Primarch isn't convinced. Increase monitoring in all containment zones. Sasha had heard enough. She slipped out of the room as quietly as she had entered, her mind racing with the implications of what she'd learned. If there were other survivor species out there, Haven wasn't alone. 3 days later, on a remote planet far from any hegemony patrols, Sasha watched as her ship landed in a rocky canyon. According to the stolen data, this world had once been home to the Drexians before their extinction at hegemony hands. "You sure about this?" asked Captain Jin as they prepared to exit the ship. "If you're wrong, we could be walking into nothing, or worse, a trap." "The signals came from here," Sasha replied. "Someone's been using old Drexian communication frequencies." They ventured out, weapons ready. The canyon opened into a wider valley dotted with ruins of what had once been a city. As they approached the largest structure, movement caught Sasha's eye. Figures emerged from hiding places in the ruins. Tall, elegant beings with silver skin and 4 eyes positioned around their heads. Drexians. They were armed with primitive weapons and looked ready to fight or flee. "We mean no harm," Sasha called out, stepping forward. She deactivated her stealth suit, revealing herself. "We are humans." The Drexians looked confused, then shocked. Their leader stepped forward, studying her with all 4 eyes. "Humans," he said in halting common. "The hegemony destroyed humans, just as they destroyed us." Sasha smiled grimly. "That's what they believe. They were wrong about both our species." "Who are you?" asked the Drexian leader. "We're the Phoenixes," Sasha replied. "And we're building an alliance of the supposedly extinct. The hegemony believes they erased us from history, but instead, they created their worst nightmare." The Drexian looked at his people, then back to Sasha. "Tell us more about this alliance." As night fell on the ruined world, Sasha shared Haven's history and their plans. One by one, the survivors of genocide found each other. The ghosts were gathering, preparing to haunt their would-be executioners. Admiral Marcus Chen stood before the assembled fleet commanders in Haven's Strategic Command Center. On the massive holographic display before them, 50 attack ships waited in formation. Each vessel incorporated the quantum masking technology, making them invisible to hegemony sensors. But these weren't just Haven ships anymore. The fleet now included vessels from 6 different extinct species. "Operation Phoenix begins in 6 hours, Marcus announced. "This is what we've prepared for across generations. The hegemony believes they eliminated us all. Today they learn how wrong they were." The commanders nodded solemnly. Many were not human. There were silver-skinned Drexians, crystalline Silurians, feathered Cantorians, and others. All shared a common history, species nearly wiped out by the hegemony, survivors rebuilding in secret for centuries. "Admiral," called out Commander Nexala, a Drexian whose family had hidden in deep space for 300 years. "My people are ready. The hegemony shipyards at Vega Prime will not stand by day's end. The Silurian forces will disable the communication relays in the Antares sector," added Commander Crystal, her crystalline form catching the light. The hegemony won't be able to coordinate a response. Marcus nodded approvingly. After a year of planning and recruitment, the Phoenix Alliance was ready to strike. His daughter Sasha had found the other survivor species, convincing them to join forces. Now they would hit the hegemony simultaneously across 12 systems, appearing as ghosts from the past. Remember, Marcus said, this isn't just about destruction. The psychological impact is our true weapon. Every ship should broadcast on open hegemony channels using your original species identifiers. Let them believe they're being haunted by the species they thought they destroyed. Hours later, Marcus watched from the bridge of the flagship Revenge as the fleet prepared to jump to their targets. Sasha approached him, now wearing the insignia of a commander. The infiltration team is ready, she said. While the fleet attacks, we'll insert into Hegemony Central Command on Proxima Station. Their main defense network is controlled from there. Marcus looked concerned. That's the most heavily guarded station in hegemony space. How will you get in? Sasha smiled. With help from our newest allies. She gestured to a tall, elegant being standing nearby. A tyranny. Marcus stiffened. The tyranny had helped hunt down humans during the Great Purge. This is Lyra, said Sasha. She's part of a tyranny resistance group. Not all of them supported the extinction campaigns. Lyra bowed slightly. My ancestors' crimes cannot be undone, Admiral. But we can help bring justice. Marcus studied her for a moment, then nodded curtly. 2 centuries of hatred couldn't disappear overnight, but they needed every ally they could get. The fleet jumped to their targets on schedule. Marcus watched the tactical display as Phoenix Alliance ships appeared in key hegemony systems. The comms crackled with reports of successful strikes. At the Vega Prime shipyards, Drexian vessels, fought extinct for centuries, destroyed docked warships before the hegemony could respond. In the Antares sector, Silurian ships knocked out communication relays. Across the galaxy, species the hegemony had tried to erase returned like avenging ghosts. Admiral, called the communications officer, we're picking up hegemony broadcasts. They're in Kados. Listen. He put it on the main speakers. Impossible. Those are Drexian ship signatures. The Cantorians are attacking Outpost 7. How can this be? They were eradicated. Central Command, we need reinforcements. The shipyards are under attack by... I don't know what they are. The ships appear and disappear like ghosts. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. The Phoenix strategy was working. The hegemony, which had built its power through fear, was now experiencing terror firsthand. Meanwhile, Sasha's infiltration team approached Proxima Station in a small stealth craft. Lyra sat beside her, providing authentication codes to bypass the outer security rings. Once we're inside, Sasha explained to her team, we'll upload the virus to their central defense network. If this works, we'll disable automated defenses across the entire hegemony. The station loomed ahead, a massive structure that served as the brain of hegemony military operations. Security was heavy, but Lyra's codes got them through the first checkpoint. Using their quantum stealth technology, they slipped past guards and security cameras. The main server room is 2 levels down, Lyra whispered. It's protected by biometric locks and armed guards. Sasha checked her weapon. We've come too far to turn back now. They moved through the station like shadows. When they reached the server room, Sasha deployed a device that temporarily disabled the security systems. Inside, banks of quantum computers controlled the hegemony's vast defense network. 2 minutes until security resets, warned one of her team members. Sasha quickly connected their virus module to the main terminal. The screen flickered as the program began uploading. Progress bars filled slowly, too slowly. Guards coming, hissed another team member at the door. Sasha worked faster, fingers flying across the interface. Almost there. The virus completed its upload just as the door slid open. Hegemony guards rushed in, weapons raised, but found an empty room. Sasha and her team had vanished, leaving only the blinking message on the main screen. The XTNTTHAV or ETURND. Throughout hegemony space, defense systems failed as ancient enemies, long thought destroyed, brought a reckoning centuries in the making. The hegemony capital world of Axiom Prime gleamed like a jewel in space as the combined fleet of the Phoenix Alliance emerged from hyperspace. Hundreds of ships, human, Drexian, Silurian, Cantorian, and others, appeared simultaneously, surrounding the planet. For 3 weeks, the Alliance had struck hegemony targets across the galaxy, but this was their endgame. On the bridge of the flagship Revenge, Admiral Marcus Chen watched the hegemony's home defense fleet scramble to respond. His daughter's virus had crippled their automated defenses, leaving them vulnerable. "Open a channel to the Hegemony Council," Marcus ordered. "All frequencies." When the connection was established, Marcus faced the main view screen. 5 Hegemony Council members stared back in shock, their different species united only by the expressions of disbelief on their alien faces. "This is Admiral Marcus Chen of the Phoenix Alliance. Your empire has committed genocide against our peoples for centuries. Today, justice comes due." The central figure on the screen, Grand Overlord Dex Ron, leaned forward. "Impossible. Humans were eliminated 200 years ago." "Clearly not," Marcus replied. "Just as you failed to eliminate the Drexians, the Silurians, and others. We are the ghosts of your atrocities returned." On a separate vessel approaching Axiom Prime's orbital palace, Sasha Reyes Chen led a small infiltration team. While her father kept the council distracted, they would secure the hegemony's central archives. Evidence of centuries of planned extinctions. "We're approaching the palace," her pilot reported. "Security is focused on the fleet. Our path is clear." Using their quantum stealth technology one final time, Sasha's team infiltrated the massive palatial station. They moved quickly through ornate corridors decorated with artifacts from 100 worlds. Trophies taken from species the hegemony had pacified. "The archive chamber should be through here," whispered Lyra, their Tyranny ally. The doors slid open to reveal a vast circular room. In the center stood a holographic display showing the galaxy, with hundreds of worlds marked in different colors. "There," said Sasha, pointing to a console. "Download everything." As her team worked, Sasha noticed a display case containing a familiar blue-green orb. Earth. Preserved like a trophy. Her hands trembled with rage. Meanwhile, the space battle had begun. Hegemony ships fought desperately, but they were outmatched by the Alliance's advanced technology and surprise attack. Marcus coordinated the assault, careful to target military installations while avoiding civilian areas. "Admiral," called his communications officer, "the Overlord is requesting to speak privately." Marcus nodded, and the main screen switched to show only Overlord Dex Ron. The alien's features were strangely familiar, the same species that had ordered Earth's destruction centuries ago. "You've made your point, human," said the Overlord. "Name your terms." "Unconditional surrender," Marcus replied. "And you will face justice for your crimes." The Overlord's expression hardened. "My ancestors built peace through strength. Sometimes that required removing threats before they emerge. Regrettable but necessary." "Necessary." Marcus's voice was ice. "My homeworld burned. Billions died. Was that necessary?" Before the Overlord could answer, the screen split to show Sasha's face. "Father, we have the archives. Thousands of extinction orders spanning 700 years. The hegemony has been systematically eliminating any species they considered potential rivals." "Send it to all our ships," Marcus ordered. "Broadcast it across the hegemony. Let their own people see what their leaders have done." The Overlord's face paled. "You don't understand. The stability of the galaxy was built on genocide," Marcus finished. "That ends today." Hours later, in the Grand Council chamber of the Orbital Palace, representatives of all the Alliance species gathered. The Hegemony Council stood before them, now prisoners. Outside the massive windows, The battle had ended with the hegemony fleet's surrender. "You expect revenge," said the Overlord, looking at the gathered representatives of supposedly extinct species. "You'll destroy us as we tried to destroy you." Sasha stepped forward. "That would make us like you. We want justice, not extinction." Marcus addressed the assembly. "For centuries, the hegemony has ruled through fear, eliminating any species they saw as threats. Today we could destroy them completely." He paused, looking at each alliance representative. "But we won't. Cycle of destruction ends here." Instead, they established a new galactic council where all species, including the former hegemony members, would have equal representation. The extinct would return to the galactic community, and the hegemony's leaders would face trial for their crimes. 1 year later, Sasha stood on the surface of Earth. After 2 centuries, the first human colony had returned to their ancestral home. Terraforming had begun, healing the scars of the hegemony's attack. "It doesn't look like the pictures," she said to her father as they watched the sunset over what had once been the Pacific Ocean. Marcus put his arm around her shoulders. "It will again someday. Earth was humanity's beginning, not its end." In orbit above them, ships from dozens of species, former enemies and new allies, worked together to rebuild. The Phoenix Alliance had evolved into something greater, a true galactic community rising from the ashes of attempted extinction. "Humanity believed we were finished," Sasha said softly. "The hegemony believed we were extinct. They were both wrong." Marcus nodded. "We didn't just survive. We brought justice to the galaxy." As darkness fell on the reborn Earth, lights from the new settlement glowed like stars on the ground. A promise that what had been destroyed could be rebuilt, and what had been broken could be healed.